Well, it was a big week for football, both pro and college. Bunch go over today. Now, some people will have different philosophies about which was bigger story of the week as far as football is concerned, but I would say to start, it was Michigan over Ohio State, and that's the first story I'll be going over today. So, I'm not big into college football as I am in the pros as far as NFL. You know, I've been more adjusting to it towards it the last few years. So grabbing towards it, watching more games, learning about more schools, but as a football fan, whether or not you love college football, you have to be happy for Michigan. Of course, unless you're a Ohio State fan or another team in the Big Ten. But Michigan finally, particularly Jim Harbaugh, as the head coach of the Wolverines, previously 0-5 against Ohio State, whether it was under Urban Meyer or Ryan Day currently. He could not solve the puzzle of Ohio State. But until Saturday in a ugly weather game, Michigan literally ran through Ohio State. 5 touchdowns on the ground for Hassan Haskins, 200 yards total rushing, not just him, but Caden McNamara did enough, 13-19, 139 yards. Not spectacular, but it was about the run game and the defense. CJ Stroud, granted, he did throw over 300 yards, but he was harassed by that defense. 3 sacks by Aiden Hutchinson in total. Run game, defense just was a feel-good moment for Michigan. Finally cracked the code of Ohio State, and of course, good for Jim Harbaugh finally getting his win over Ohio State. B, Ohio State was currently ranked number 2. So I think that after solidly being the number 2 team in the country, Michigan sealed it as a playoff team come Sunday when the final college football rankings come out. And then C, with Minnesota's win over Wisconsin, that the Big Ten championship Saturday will be Michigan versus Iowa in Indianapolis. So high stakes there as far as the playoffs are concerned and the Big Ten. So, but good for Michigan, good for Michigan. The other story as far as college football is concerned, now there was another story that came out today, but I'll leave that for now. Lincoln Riley, who has been the Sooners head coach for a number of years now, has had good QBs come through for him, whether it's Baker, Kyler. He had a QB conundrum this year with Spencer Rattler and Caleb Williams. And they still had a decent season. But after a thrilling game Saturday night between Oklahoma State and Oklahoma with high stakes, number 7 versus number 10, Oklahoma State pulled through, will advance to face Baylor in a championship game on Saturday. Oklahoma and Lincoln Riley have parted ways, and Lincoln Riley will be the new head coach for the USC Trojans. Big for him, big for USC, and big for the Pac-12. Now, the Pac-12 championship will be contested Saturday between Oregon and Utah. So, stakes there. And right off the bat, you can say, well, that's the two main teams for USC in order to conquer, in order to get where they were. But Keaton Slovis at quarterback, and if anyone can get Lincoln Riley or can get USC back to where it was, it is Lincoln Riley. So, should be fun, and can't wait to see how it turns out. Now, with those stories and thoughts about college football playoff this past weekend, now let's get into it. Week 12. We had some thrilling Thanksgiving football. Besides the food, we had some fun football on Thanksgiving, coupled with some good games on Monday or today and yesterday, Sunday. But let's get into it. So, first on Thanksgiving, it was a weird appetizer. First between the Bears and the Lions. 16-14. Andy Dalton versus Jared Goff. Dalton made some good throws. Had that touchdown to Jimmy Graham. Had some good throws to Darnell Mooney. People were curious as to whether this would be the last game of Matt Nagy. But they got it out in weird fashion, but got it done. Jared Goff, coming off that oblique injury, he made some good throws. One touchdown, TJ Hawkinson, but did well. I mean, there's still going to be questions about him as the QB going forward for the Lions, but he made some decent throws, and Don played well. But yeah, it was a weird appetizer. And the main course came early on Thanksgiving. The Raiders, in overtime, beat the Cowboys 36-33. Derek Carr played really well. 500 yards of offense for the Raiders. Deshaun Jackson, in my opinion, was the X factor for the Raiders. Didn't use him a lot, but he had some big receptions. And just the threat of Deshaun Jackson is what they had with Henry Ruggs, but we know what happened with him. And Darren Waller, he went out in the game. And yeah, it was Dak. He was without Lamb and Cooper, but still managed to put 33 points on the board. And he banged up Zeke. So, throw a game, but in overtime, 4 pass interference calls on Anthony Brown, which ultimately doomed the Cowboys. But the Raiders get a much needed win. After a 3-game skid, they got it out and got it done in Dallas. And then a nice dessert on Thanksgiving. The Bills beat the Saints 31-6. Josh Allen had 4 touchdowns rather. The injury-riddled Saints, they tried, but they need to make some changes, you know. But this week in against Dallas, things may look different, and they need a change desperately after losing 4 straight. Well, it was a stellar way to start Sunday. The Bucks win in Indy. Tight one, 38-31. Leonard Fournette, 4 touchdowns. Stellar for him. The Colts were controlling this game for the majority, but a fumble by Wentz caused by Shaq Barrett and a big, impressive interception by Antoine Winfield really kickstarted for the Bucks, and it was 31-31, but the Buccaneers won late. A weird game, 21-14. Jets win, and Zach Wilson's return. He did enough. It was just a weird game by both sides. Austin Walter, I will say good for him, getting a touchdown back in his hometown of Houston. While Michael Carter injured, so good for him. Good for Zach Wilson, and good for Robert Saleh. What was not pretty, but was good for the Giants. They beat their rival Eagles 13-7. 3 interceptions off Jalen Hurts. 2 were in scoring position. So right off the bat, 6 points off the board, at least, which would have tied the game. But their defense did well. The offense, it still has questions, but good for Giants getting a win when Michael Strahan retired his jersey at halftime. So good for Giants. And they're still in the thick of things at 4-7, just a game out of the wild card scene. Crazy. Crazy score also. Dolphins harass the Panthers 33-10. Turnovers by Cam. You know, the game was really kickstarted by a blocked punt in the end zone, but Cam fired back with a few good plays and then was carried into the end zone by one of his linemen for a touchdown. 7-7, and then, but Dolphins were opportunistic. Jalen Waddle is emerging in his rookie year. Good for Tua. He's doing better. Past 3 games, Tua, no interceptions, and his pass rating over 100. So 4 straight wins for the Dolphins, and they're also in the thick of things back again in the AFC. The Patriots. Now, I have mixed feelings about this game. First, I'll say about the Patriots, got their 6th straight win. Good for them. Mac Jones had over 300 yards passing. Kendrick Bourne is really doing well for the Patriots. That defense, surrendered 200 yards rushing, but created some turnovers, so good for them. As I'll say for the Titans, no one respected them during their 6-game win streak, and double the disrespect now that they're on their 2-game skid. And I mean, it's unfortunate, but I think it's ridiculous. A bit ridiculous. Now, we'll see in coming weeks. A.J. Brown on IR. They could get Julio Jones and Derrick Henry back soon. We'll see. But they're on the bye. Good for them. We'll see. Then a beating in the jungle. 41-10. Bengals win over the Steelers. Joe Mixon had over 160 yards rushing. The Steelers defense was just gashed. And we know the formula for the Steelers offense. Balance, run the ball. Najee Harris is more important to the Steelers offense right now than Big Ben. I think we can all agree, but we know this. We know it. That's all. Good for the Bengals. They found consistency again after 2 losses, 1-2 straight. And then what was a tight game as well, or the opposite. Falcons beat the Jags 21-14. Over 100 rushing yards by Cordarrelle Patterson. Good for him. Primarily the reason they get the win over Jacksonville. Then in Denver, we got the Broncos beating the Chargers 28-13. There's a formula, it seems, with Denver and the Chargers, seemingly the last number of years, and also with the Chargers They started 4-1, but have dropped 4 out of their last 6. So it's just like, what are you going to get out of the Chargers? And Broncos get a much needed win gearing towards Sunday night in Arrowhead versus the Chiefs. So good for them. And good for Patrick Surtain. After getting 2 picks, he handed one to his dad. So good for him. Good for the Packers as well. They win in Lambeau 36-28. You know, well, missed opportunities for the Rams, and the Rams, I think Drew Brees said best on Football Night in America. You know, Robert Woods, he did a bunch for the Rams offense. Yes, we know that Kupp is having a fantastic season, and he has that connection with Matthew Stafford. But, one sec. Need to get a drink really quick. Better, but the chemistry is a bit off, I would say, with the Rams. Because their bread and butter for years was run the ball and play action. And Matthew Stafford is a much better thrower than Goff. He can make every throw in the books. And yes, it's easy for people to say, well, Stafford, they're not doing right. They're not doing right. They're not playing to what their strengths. Yes, it's easy to fall in love with the passing game, but they need to be more balanced, first and foremost, because they're trying to be flashy. They're trying to get all their shiny objects in, but they're not winning. And they need to get back to what brought them to the dance. That is run the ball and be balanced. And then the 49ers have found their stride again. They went over the Vikings 34-26. Now 6-5 have found their stride, and losing Deebo Samuel for a couple weeks, that it's gonna hurt, but 6 seed and their momentum is going up. As for the Vikings, with all these close games this season, and losing Dalvin Cook didn't help, but their defense has issues. Now, yes, they were injury riddled on the D line, but still, we know that offense can perform, but that defense, it has to get better. They have to make adjustments if they want to salvage this season, try and make the playoffs. Sunday night was ugly. 16-10, Baltimore wins over Cleveland. There was a period in the second quarter where it felt like no one could hang on to the ball. 3 picks by Lamar Jackson in the second quarter. Jarvis Landry fumble, Baker fumble. I mean, just odd. Now, the Browns had their chances. Their defense relatively kept them in there, but missed field goal again. Baker fumbles in scoring range. Jarvis Landry fumbles. It's just they had their chances, and we'll see because these two are going to rematch in 2 weeks because the Browns have their bye week and then they host the Ravens in the doghouse. So we'll see. But yeah, just an ugly game in Baltimore. And then what was an interesting finish to week 12. Washington wins over Seattle 17-15. Washington was controlling the game mostly throughout. Seattle, Russell Wilson, I doubt he's 100% after some of the throws he made, but after a failed touchdown to go up ahead 2 scores because Joey Sly got hurt on an exciting return blocked extra point for 2 at the end of the half. Seattle got the ball late to try to tie it. Wide open touchdown by Seattle, but then Russell picked off on the 2-point conversion. And then last guess, they get the onside kick. But guy was this close out of formation, this close. And they had to kick it in. Unfortunately, couldn't recover it, and that was it. So, stellar week of picks, 13-2. You know, the only games I was wrong about, Giants and Broncos. I did pick most of the upsets, 3 out of 5, but, still, I didn't pick all of them, but, oh well. Still a sour week of picks. Now let's get into, after a good week 12, now gearing towards December football. When it's getting cold football and where we see teams separate themselves and become playoff teams, and we see which teams can make that surge as well and who falters. So to start week 13, Thursday Night Football, Cowboys, who will be without Mike McCarthy due to COVID. Dan Quinn will be the head coach Thursday night. Put an asterisk on this game, but have to see about the status of Lamb and Cooper and Zeke, but they go to New Orleans to play what seems to be Taysom Hill, hopefully Alvin Kamara, and Mark Ingram. I think having those 3 on offense, I think will provide a boost for this offense. The defense, you know, I have questions about for Dallas. And I think Taysom Hill and those three starting will provide enough of a boost for. Now, again, an asterisk on this game. Have to see about the statuses. But 23-20, I got Saints winning. A much needed game. So then, what is one of the most interesting under the radar games for Sunday in week 13? Giants go to Miami to play the Dolphins. You know, Dolphins have won 4 straight. Giants get a good win over Philly on Sunday. They're back in this. Now, I mean, this just seems like a low-scoring game. Miami 3-point favorites. Now, the Giants are the only team to cause a turnover in every game this season. So, will that streak continue? We'll see. But I still have questions about the offense of the Giants, so I'm going to go 21-17 Miami. They get the victory. Make it 5 straight for Dolphins. Then we got Colts going to Houston. Colts now 6-6. Need this win pretty much to stay in the hunt for the playoffs. Colts 8.5-point favorites. I mean, Texans had their chances against Jets, and I'm just going for Colts win, stay alive, 31-20 over Texans or in Houston. Then we got the Vikings, who also, after another close loss, now they face Detroit in Detroit. Vikings 7-point favorites. I mean, all the games have been one score for the Vikings, I think. But like with the Colts, this is a must win for them. A win they gotta have. So going with Vikings to win and cover 24-16 in Detroit. So then we got the Eagles, who let the game get away from them, seemingly against the Giants. Go to the Meadowlands, or stay in the Meadowlands, actually, to play the Jets. Philly 6.5-point favorites. Now, another asterisk on this game because Jalen Hurts dealing with sore ankle. So for now, my score is 21-17 Jets, but have to see about Hurts. But so far, that's my score. Excuse me. Actually, I'll go 20-17 Jets. So then we got Cardinals off a bye. Go to Chicago to play the Bears. Cardinals 7.5-point favorites. I mean, Kyler Murray's likely return to this game. I think Kyler's ready for the offense is open up. And I know Khalil Mack, although Robert Quinn has done well. So 28-24 Cardinals. So we got another interesting game. Chargers going to the jungle. Joe Burrow versus Justin Herbert. Number 1 overall pick versus number 6 last year. Bengals 3-point favorites. Shoot. I mean, Chargers can't stop the run. Or they have a hard time stopping the run. Now, they did last week for the Steelers, but other than that, difficult time for the Chargers. And Joe Mixon, without he's playing, I just don't know with the Chargers. So got the Bengals here win 30-24. Then we got the Buccaneers with the second biggest line of the week. They go to Atlanta to play the Falcons. I mean, Atlanta got the win against Jacksonville. Good for them. But, the Bucks win 34-24, although Falcons narrowly cover. So, there. So then we got Jacksonville going to LA. Rams 12.5-point favorites. Obviously, this get right game for the Rams. Now, there'll still be questions. I just hope they can be more balanced on offense. So 27-17 Rams. They end their losing streak. Interesting game now. Washington go to Vegas. Now, Raiders snapped their losing streak against Cowboys. They face Washington here, who's now the 7th seed. Washington's defense has played much better as of late, only giving up 20 points in the last month of the season. So, good for them and Jack Del Rio. Now, Raiders had that explosion Now, the key now is can they be consistent with it? I mean, 2.5 point favorites. Intriguing game. A must win, seemingly, for both. High stakes. Huh. I'm going with the better passing attack, and Derek Carr gets the win 24-20. Raiders win. Go with 7-5. Next, we got a great rivalry game. What has been one of the better rivalries of the 21st century. Ravens going to Pittsburgh. Baltimore only 3-point favorites. 3-point favorites. Hmm. You know, Steelers got embarrassed, and I expect this to be a physical game. Physical game. And it has been close with the Steelers the last number of years for Lamar Jackson. Now, this isn't a flashy offense for the Steelers, and I think it works. I'm going to go with Steelers to get back on track. This just feels like a game the Steelers have to have. I'm not saying it'll be great, but yeah, 28 or no, wait, 23-17. Pittsburgh gets win and gets back to 6-5-1. Another rivalry game, not as great, but still interesting. 49ers go to Seattle to play Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. I mean, I just can't pick the Seahawks right now. I just can't. And with the way the 49ers have been playing, they're searching. So I'm going to go with the 49ers, although it'll be close. 24 24-19 49ers. Then Sunday Night Football. Broncos 6-5 go Arrowhead and play the 7-4 Chiefs. Chiefs 10-point favorites. I think they cover. I mean, do think this can be a high scoring game. But I'm going to go Chiefs to win this 34-23. Broncos hang around, but Chiefs pull away at the end. Then we got, oh boy, Patriots go to Buffalo. 8-4 for 7-4. One team is going to win and one's going to lose unless there's a tie, which that would suck. You know, Mac Jones has exceeded my expectations. Not saying he was bad, saying I expected him to be bad, but with all the rookies this year, I've given them a pass. Rookie quarterbacks. I just want to see them show improvement and good signs going into next year. With Mac Jones, he's exceeded those expectations in the right system. Good running game and good defense. Now, Bills have good defense as well, but they have shown to be they can get gashed in the run game. And Bills also have to show they can run the ball as well. So, wait, 2, 3. Bills have to show they can run the ball. And otherwise, they're one dimensional. And I think this is a prove game for Patriots. I think it'll be a 3-point game, but the other way 27-24. Patriots get the win in Buffalo. Four upsets, okay. But good. Those are my predictions for week 13. But yeah, that's the episode, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I did too. I did a second take, but nonetheless, good. Uh, Again, bunch of stories coming out this weekend and more to come. But we'll see. Anyways, thank you guys. If you like this video, click that like, as well as if you want to see more sports review topics where I go over sports news and coverage, find it on the channel. But thank you all. Join me on episode 76. Be back next week for episode 77. So thank you. Be safe. I am Ajoe21love. Peace.